This is the channel Learn History While You Sleep. Here, you'll find immersive, softly narrated stories from ancient civilizations, medieval empires, and forgotten corners of history, all told in a calming tone designed to help you relax, unwind, and fall asleep. Each episode is crafted to blend education with rest, transforming bedtime into a gateway to the ancient world. New videos weekly. Topics: Rome, Greece, Egypt, medieval Europe, lost empires, and more. Let history guide you into dreams. Subscribe and start your journey through time while you sleep.
As you begin to fall asleep, let your mind drift backwards, not just hours or days, but centuries. Imagine the soft crackle of torches in marble halls, the distant echo of sandals on stone roads, and the scent of incense in sacred temples. Tonight, we travel to ancient Rome. But this is not a story about how Rome rose to greatness. It's a story about how it faded, slowly, quietly, while much of the world was still dreaming. The Roman Empire was once the most powerful civilization on Earth. Its armies marched from the icy rivers of Germania to the burning sands of Africa. Its roads, over 250,000 miles of them, connected provinces across 3 continents. Rome was the first city in history to reach 1 million inhabitants. It had plumbing, newspapers, public welfare, and a postal service. It even had heated floors. But empires, like people, do not fall all at once. Their decline is slow, like a candle flickering in the wind. Historians often point to the year 476 AD as the fall of Rome, when the last Western emperor was deposed. But in truth, Rome had been dying for over 2 centuries. The warning signs were there, if anyone was paying attention. One of the earliest cracks appeared in the 3rd century, a period known as the Crisis of the 3rd Century. Between 235 and 284 AD, more than 20 emperors took the throne, many reigning for less than a year. Some were killed by their own soldiers, others by rivals, and a few simply vanished. The empire fractured into 3 separate states at one point, and was almost lost entirely. At the same time, plague and famine swept through the provinces. One particular outbreak, possibly smallpox or measles, killed up to 5,000 people per day in the city of Rome. The economy spiraled. The Roman coin, once trusted across the known world, was heavily debased with cheap metals. In some cases, coins contained less than 5% silver. Inflation became so severe that emperors were forced to impose price controls, and failure to comply could result in death. To maintain the army, Rome turned to mercenaries, often hiring Germanic tribes such as the Goths and Vandals. These warriors spoke different languages, followed different gods, and held no deep loyalty to the empire. In time, some of them would rise to positions of command, and eventually, they would turn against the hand that fed them. Yet while these tensions built beneath the surface, many Roman citizens continued with daily life. They bathed in public forums, watched gladiators in the Colosseum, and told themselves that Rome would last forever. One of the most fascinating, and often overlooked, curiosities is how the Roman military changed. Early legions were composed of citizen soldiers with deep patriotism. But by the 4th century, the legions were increasingly made of non-Romans, poorly trained, and sometimes not paid at all. The famed discipline of Roman arms faded. In fact, by the time of the empire's final battles, some Roman cities had no legions left to defend them. Meanwhile, the Roman Senate, once the heart of the Republic, had become mostly symbolic. It still met, still gave speeches, but its influence had eroded. Emperors ruled by decree, and those who dared oppose them often disappeared. Another key moment in the unraveling came in 313 AD, when Emperor Constantine issued the Edict of Milan, granting freedom of worship to Christians. It marked a turning point. Christianity, once a persecuted cult, became not just accepted, but eventually dominant. Temples to Jupiter and Mars were abandoned. Statues of old gods were removed, their names erased. Churches rose in their place. With it came a change in identity, from pagan Rome to Christian Rome. Some embraced it, others resisted it, but Rome was no longer the Rome of Caesar or Augustus. In 330 AD, Constantine moved the capital eastward to a new city, Constantinople. Located in what is now Istanbul, it was strategically placed for defense and trade. The Eastern Roman Empire flourished while the West decayed. By the late 4th century, the two halves of the empire were distinct, and the western half, centered in Italy, was falling apart. One of the most chilling moments came in 410 AD, when the Visigoths, led by Alaric, sacked the city of Rome. For the first time in 800 years, the Eternal City had fallen to a foreign army. Saint Jerome, writing from Bethlehem, said, "If Rome can perish, what can be safe?" It was not just a military event, it was psychological. Rome, the symbol of civilization, was now vulnerable. But even then, the empire staggered on. Puppet emperors rose and fell. Barbarian generals held true power. One emperor, Valentinian III, was killed in public by former allies. Another, Majorian, was executed by his own troops. The final act came in 476 AD. A boy named Romulus Augustulus, barely a teenager, was placed on the throne. His name echoed Romulus, the mythical founder of Rome, and Augustus, its first emperor. But he was no ruler, merely a figurehead. A Germanic general named Odoacer forced his abdication and sent the imperial insignia to Constantinople. The Western Roman Empire had ended, not with a roar, but with a whisper. And yet, not everything was lost. The Eastern Empire, known as Byzantium, continued for nearly 1,000 more years. Roman laws, ideas, and infrastructure lived on in Europe, passed down through kingdoms and churches. Even today, the US Senate, the calendar, and many languages carry Roman roots. What makes Rome's fall so haunting is not how quickly it happened, but how slowly. It decayed while people worked, prayed, loved, and slept. It vanished not in a single night, but in 1,000 small moments. Quiet ones, forgotten ones. And now, as you rest, know that the past never truly disappears. It lives in ruins, in books, in whispers carried by the wind, and in stories like this one. Good night. Sleep well, and may you dream of distant roads paved in stone, where echoes of Rome still linger.